Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. If it's Wednesday, it means it's good weather and sunny out, and it means it's the Mott and Chace report, talking about everything real estate across Rhode Island. You'd think the real estate market can't get any more dynamic, and it gets more dynamic. Ben Scungio is with us. Ben, thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's jump right to it. You're seeing interesting trends. There's sort of all these mixed indicators, interest rates and prices and this and that. Talk about what you're seeing in the data really in just the last couple weeks as you're seeing some shifts.
Sure. So in just the past 7 days, it's really interesting to see what the market's doing. Granted, August has been traditionally a slow month in the state of Rhode Island, except for 2020 and 2021. People like to go on vacation and enjoy the beaches. But in the past 7 days, we've only seen 371 new listings statewide. So that means single-family, condominiums, and multifamilies. Only 331 sold properties, 465 properties that are pending or that have just gone into contract. And then the number that's interesting to me is 139 price reductions across the board.
I don't even know what that word means after the last couple of years. There is such a thing as you put your house on the market and you reduce the price. I thought you just got more money than what you asked for the property.
Typically, yes. We have a term that we like to throw around here is aspirational pricing, right? A number that is pie in the sky for sellers. And you could do that probably 6 months ago. Just throw a number out there and you'd probably have a buyer pool of 5, 10, 15, 20 people. But right now, based on how interest rates have gone up, which has eliminated a pool of buyers, price reductions are going to start to happen as the market starts to normalize.
So 139 roughly, what do you want to call it? Somewhere around 15% of the market, 20% of the market is seeing price reductions.
That's fair, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Is there any indicator, any sense of are these properties at the high end of the market or dispersed all over the place? Is this the low-priced 350,000 Cape in Western Coventry as much as it is the beautiful mansion on the water down in Watch Hill?
Sure, that is statewide at all price points. And like I said, single-family, condominiums, and multifamily properties.
And do you see anything indicating that this is a trend that we're going to see an increase, or this is just the market recalibrating to really a new reality?
I see it as the market just totally recalibrating at this point. We have trend graphs here, and since the beginning of 2020, we really wanted to analyze what the market was doing, because the pandemic was so unpredictable for the housing market until it took off, and it was something that we've never ever seen. And it's interesting to see that a lot of the trends for new listings, under agreements, and sold properties are trending at or below what 2019 was doing. And don't get me wrong, 2019 and 2018 were great real estate markets. It was much more leveled out. There were still multiple offer situations, but buyers did have more opportunities than they have had over the past 12 to 18 months. So I see it as it's a complete leveling out where buyers are going to have more opportunities. Sellers are still getting a great number for their home. It might not be, like I said earlier, pie in the sky that they could have, got 12 to 18 months ago, but they're still doing really, really well. A lot of people are not going to be rewarded if they purchased their house 6 months ago and they want to make 20 to 30%. But if they purchased their home 3 to 5 years ago, they're going to be in great shape still.
Yeah, I'd gone over that number with Kim Marion last week, that the median price of a single-family home in 2015, just 7 years ago in Rhode Island, was $205,000. Sure. And 7 years later, July of 2022, it was $410,000. So 100% increase in the value of a home in just 7 years. A remarkable trend.
Well, Rhode Island really crept back from 2008, right? You saw other markets that totally exploded, like Boston and even parts of Connecticut, and obviously the West Coast and in Florida. And we are still a value. Any way you look at it, we're still a value compared to Boston and a lot of the surrounding states.
Ben, what are you seeing in, you've sold a lot of condos. What, what are you seeing in the condo market right now?
Condo market is very strong. I know we've talked about this in the past, that the condo market is really a way to get into home ownership, right? It's not as expensive as acquiring a single family home or a multifamily home. And there's not a lot of like maintenance you have to do, right? Because your HOA covers all your snow removal and your trash and all that great stuff that nobody really feels like doing. We've seen the condo market stay strong. We have still great activity with resales at the 903. We have great activity downtown at Water Place. And then you still have a lot of condominiums on the east side that are smaller HOAs that are still selling relatively quickly. So if I were to take a stab at it, I don't have that data in front of me right now. I'd probably say the condominium market might be stronger in Providence than the single family home market right now.
Ben, talk a little bit about rental prices continue to just explode. I mean, just pricing people completely out of the market. And for that monthly payment of owning a pretty nice condominium or single family home, between your mortgage payment on a 30-year fixed, even with the higher interest rates, coupled with the taxes and insurance, you're still probably paying less than what a month-to-month rental is. Do you see any leveling out of this, or because of low unemployment, because people have jobs, they want that apartment, they want that house, that there's just going to be continuous pressure on housing costs?
Multiple news outlets reported that Providence had the fourth largest increase nationwide in rents year over year. That's a big number. Again, like I previously mentioned, though, we're considered undervalued to other markets. It's great. You could live at Station Row or Park Row West and get on a train and go to Boston, and you have a two-bedroom there that I believe they're ranging around $3,500 a month. But what's a two-bedroom in Boston? $3,500 a month. But that being said, that market is going to 100% level out at some point. You just cannot see dramatic increases in rental prices. With the lack of affordable housing that the state has right now, and then other rental properties just skyrocketing their rents, it's going to hit a breaking point at some point, where it has to become affordable for everybody.
We put a story out, I want to say 2 weeks ago, off some data that Rhode Island per capita, forget the total number of units, per capita was the lowest in production of new housing units, just about 1,000 housing units on an annualized basis, a incredibly paltry number, and considering that we need about 20,000 new housing units. Do you see any, is it the cost of lumber? Is it the cost of steel? Is it the difficulty in getting permitting by the local community or, environmental agencies? What's holding us back from being able to put up 5,000 housing units in a single year?
Yeah, I think frankly, a lot of what you just mentioned has a lot to do with it. Obviously the cost of construction has been noted for years that it's been on the rise dramatically, and it's extremely difficult for contractors and new developers to afford to acquire land and build. But we live in such a densely populated community, there's just not enough dirt. Where do you build these units? You start tearing down properties. Granted, we see that happen on the east side quite often now. But in other parts of the state, even in Providence County, there's just a lot of rehabbing going on. So if you had a 3 or 4 unit property, instead of somebody tearing it down and putting up, 5 or 7 units, whatever it may be, most developers find it more cost efficient to just rehab it and rent it out at a higher rent rate. So it's detrimental. When will there be an opportunity to open up and have more housing? That's a really great question.
Ben, forward looking, sort of last question, where do you see the market going in your magic 8 ball? Are we going to start to see more consistent price reductions and maybe see a slight decline in the median price of a single family home, or are we going to sort of plateau here in this $400,000 range and sort of play it out as we see the interest rates find its spot over the next few months?
Sure. I think everybody has an opinion about this. I think that based on trends and what the economy is doing and the talk of quote unquote recession and the uncertainty in interest rates, I think we might see a small decline in values. But I read a lot of different articles from a lot of different news outlets, and we have great resources here. A lot of people are saying that we're going to again see another increase in prices in 2024 and 2025. So if we do see a small decline, it's going to be made right back up. But I do see a leveling in the market where buyers are going to have more options. It's not going to be as heated with bidding wars and multiple offer situations. Again, like I said earlier, if you bought your house in 2017, 2018, even 2019, you're going to be in great shape when you go to sell.
Are we still in a seller's market, or have we shifted to a buyer's market?
No, I believe we're still in a seller's market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Ben, thank you so much. As always, greatly appreciate your expertise, and everybody over at Mott and Chace. You guys are at the cutting edge of data and information for buyers and sellers to be able to make a judgment, and really appreciate it. For everybody else, stay tuned. Lots going on. The primary is less than 2 weeks away. A number of contested significant races in the Democratic primary on September 13th. Obviously, a number of days will get eaten up with people not paying attention to politics and paying much more attention to the grill and hot dogs over the course of the weekend. So stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date on everything. There's a lot going on. Press conference in the Providence Police Department today, as well as much, much more. Stay tuned. Stay healthy. If you didn't get a booster shot, get one. They got a new one coming out, and that'll keep you nice and healthy and out there and enjoying all the family and friends during the holiday weekend. Thanks, everybody.